I need to talk to you.
What about?
Diddy and Bubba.
What about him? I know who killed them.
Detectives MacArthur and Patton, Mr. Falconer.
Where you blokes hail from?
You'll need to accompany us to the station.
You're the dog who murdered my grandparents.
Police have identified the body parts of a man found in 6 bags in the Hastings River at Wauchope as those of missing prisoner Terry Falconer.
Frank O'Rourke?
I know who killed Terry Falconer.
Take a look at this. These are the ones who killed Terry Falconer. That's Anthony Parrish.
Who's been talking?
Anthony Parrish hasn't ever had an account with Telstra. He's not registered with the Housing Commission, Medicare, or any private health fund. No super fund has any record of him. He's got no outstanding fines, no traffic infringements. He's not on the electoral roll, got no tax file number, no credit history. Only someone with serious badness to hide would go to this much effort to cover their tracks.
Strike Force Tuno will investigate the murder of Terry Falconer. I have every confidence that Detective Sergeant Jubilant
It'll take as long as it takes.
You're never going to catch who killed him, are you? We're just Westie lowlifes with a shitty crook for a dad. Who cares if someone like him gets chopped to pieces?
We cannot overemphasise the importance of our informant X.
That's Frank O'Rourke. We can't afford Parrish to know he's given us a statement.
Do you know a man named Frank Xavier O'Rourke?
I don't think so. No.
We did it.
Did what?
Killed Falconer. Me and Muzz. Decker was one of the kidnappers.
You keep saying you hardly know Parrish, that you only just met him.
This prick, he wouldn't shout if a shark bit him.
We can look after you, if that's what you're worried about.
You want me to knock a cop?
Flesh and blood like anyone else, mate.
Can I tell you the plan? I'll explain it to you face to face.
All right, tomorrow at 10. We'll wish after Dockage.
In Dockage's statement, he said they forced him to make taped admissions in this cafe in Lavender Bay.
All right, team 1, move in. Anthony Parrish, you're under arrest for the conspiracy to murder Terry Falconer.
We need to get Decker and Andrew Parrish to roll over. This prick could walk. You the pigeon?
Who's it for?
Bloke in H-wing called Undies.
Hundreds of standard rate. Or your shoes.
In prison on remand, Anthony and his brother Andrew Parrish were subject to non-association orders, meaning they never had the chance to chat in the prison yard. But where there's a will, there's always a way.
You've been busy. And we've been busy too. Willie Strong.
Ben Dockage.
Then there's your mates. Michael Christensen, Vito Russo. Out back giving statements.
You know, for someone who likes big noting himself, you're awfully quiet.
See, Anthony stitched you up from the start. You've still got the Commodore you used to kidnap Falconer. Why didn't he tell you to get rid of it?
Because if shit hit the fan, he wanted you to take the rap. Not him.
I thought I was just taking him back. I took him to Anthony's for questioning. But that's... I didn't realise what they were going to do.
They being Anthony and Andrew.
No. Anthony and Muzz.
Matthew Robert Lawton. You're under arrest for the murder of Terry Falconer.
I said to Muzz, we're going to let him out of there. And he says, we'll wait for mate. He was armed, I wasn't. I make a run for it. They're going to get my family.
When Anthony got here?
They opened up the toolbox. He was dead. The whole time they never asked him one question.
Then what?
They rigged him up to the block and tackle. Anthony throws a suit at me, get this on. The larger parts were cut into smaller parts. I participated. I had to. At one point, Anthony's looking at me, I'm feeling crook, and he says, "What, is this the first time you've done this?"
Well, here's what I get, Brett. You hook a person up to one of these and they're fucking swinging around all over the place. Makes it really hard to cut anything up. Makes me think that you hooked him onto this while he was still alive and you tortured him.
He was dead.
All right.
So Decker told us about the disposable suits, about the hacksaws, about the bleach you and Muzz used to wash the walls when you'd finished. We got a bone expert in to examine the remains. She reckons she used the hacksaw too. She told us the size of the blades to the nearest millimetre. And it matches what we found in that burned out pit. So the jury, they're going to see how well you plan this, and they're going to see murder. I'll make this offer once, then I'm not going to do it again. You plead guilty to murder, and we'll drop all charges against your mate, Matt Lawton. He can go home to his wife and his kids.
I like your tie, mate. It goes well with your eyes.
He doesn't give two shits about you, Matthew. Do something for yourself for once. Give us a statement, and you'll go home a lot sooner than you think.
Like you said, we're not interested.
6 years ago, you boys turned my life upside down, eh? Now you want to do it all over again?
You're our chief witness, Frank. If you don't testify, Anthony's charge would get reduced to manslaughter. He'd be out in under 10.
Well, I think it's only fair we get to talk it over.
Look at me, Frank. Just do this for us. It'll all be over. You can move on. You can close that chapter of your life.
I close this chapter, Gary. There'll be a couple of lead jelly beans with my name on them. It'll never be over for me. Or me family.
He just wants to feel like he's in control, you know? He's worried about the Vikings coming after him. With me coming after him, he doesn't pull through.
Fast forward 3 years. Where are we?
What is this? Just want to be a positive psychology drill, is it?
I'd like us to get married.
Married? Is this a proposal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought I'd soften up by this romantic dinner first.
Why don't we wait until after the trial?
Why wait?
Why rush?
I know this job's important, but every special meal, every weekend away, you cancel.
Yeah, exactly.
don't want to cancel a honeymoon, Trace.
You know, I appreciate where Frank's coming from. Tuno dictates my life as much as it does his. Sorry I'm late. I'll push on with those phone records. Should have them finished by the end of today. I'm fine.
Gary Jublin?
I'll do it, Gary. Let's finish what we started, mate. Right?
Well, that's very good to hear, Frank. We're on. All right, mate.
Righto.
Thank you.
I don't think you should be too concerned. No one's going to believe these people. A bikie who's done time for manslaughter, nah, it's all circumstantial.
You mean it relies on witnesses?
Precisely. They're not exactly credible.
Right.
I got mixed up with the wrong guy, okay? I admit that, but you have to believe me. Everything I did. He was threatening me. It was me or them. I do a job while he comes... Huh? Yeah. Yeah, put him on. Of course. Hey, buddy. How's my little man? Yeah, Daddy misses you too, mate.
I've got the lab results for the blood we found in the shed. As we expected, no trace of DNA, so it could be animal blood, human, who knows.
Right, well, for the remains of the toolbox, we've got the saws. Take as evidence. It's not crucial.
Okay. We need to have a talk about Camille. She's got cancer.
What?
I tried telling her to take it easy, but she won't listen. I thought it might need to come from you.
So after that last phone call from Andrew Parrish's phone to O'Rourke's, there's no further contact. There's this flurry of activity the week leading up to the abduction, and nothing. Zilch. You're happy. This is good.
I know you're sick, Camille. Well, I can't pretend to know how you feel, but this is a shit of a job. Why don't you just take it easy, go home?
To what? This shit of a job is the most meaningful police work I've ever done. I want to see it through, just like you.
People already think I'm a slave driver. They're gonna think I'm a real prick. Stay as long as you want.
Thank you.
Frank, it's just like old times, you in the back there.
Yeah. Only this time I don't have my popcorn, hey? Let's get those crooks. Window doesn't even open, hey?
Hey, Frank.
How am I supposed to sleep knowing Browning's in the next room, huh? Could be sleeping nude for all I know. Honestly, I've never felt so claustrophobic, eh?
Wait till you get in the witness box.
We at least go out for a feed, huh? Oh, that's not fair. You get to go home to your family and I'm stuck here by myself.
Frank, just sit down, will you? Just try and relax. We'll make a call. We'll get something brought up. Jesus Christ, you're making me nervous. Sit down. Just... All right, just breathe.
That is shit ass, Gary, huh? That is shit ass. Come on. Oh, but hey, mate. Time for you to throw some coin on the bar, eh? Come on, Gazzy, old woman.
Don't call me Gazza, Frank. How's a bloke your size get away with eating lettuce?
Same way the silverback gorilla does, mate. Eat a truckload. In my case, maybe two. Oh, see that bloke over there? Huh? Well, he's not too happy about you eyeing off his missus, eh?
You just can't fucking help yourself, can you?
You want to know how to survive a beating with a table leg?
Yeah.
Say you've slept with your mate's missus, right? Now, if you're a useful member, you're not going to get killed or nothing, right? But there has to be some kind of retribution. I mean, fair's fair, yeah?
How? What?
You lay face down flat on the ground, right?
And that's it?
Well, you cover your head, Einstein. You know, but if you're sure they're not out to kill you, that's your best bet, right?
Sounds like how you survived a bear attack.
Bears, Vikings.
All right, take this. Did you get my message?
Gary, I fly to Darwin first thing in the morning. This is the last night we had together for a while.
All right, I'm leaving. Okay, I'm on my way. Packing the bed for 2 days, aren't you? What?
Gaz, I'm hardly seeing you. The hours you're doing on this are insane, and the trial hasn't even started yet. And what, me running the company from the kitchen table?
Jesus Christ, Tracy, you were just talking about marriage. What, now you're just gonna get pissing off?
We're not breaking up, you goose. Hey. Still visit once a month. I can't let you give up on this case.
I love you, Trace.
Enough to drive me to the airport in the morning.
June 2010, and Anthony, Andrew and Muzz face their committal hearing. The question at hand, had Strikeforce Tuno built a strong enough case to put them on trial for murder? The three accused men hadn't seen or spoken to each other since their arrests 18 months before. It was also the first time Anthony had clapped eyes on Decker since he had turned Crown witness.
I had he got a 50% discount on his sentence.
How long did it take to drive to Girvan?
A long time. Maybe 2 to 3 hours.
When Anthony joined you and Mr. Lawton later, and the box was opened, was Mr. Falconer alive?
No.
But he was alive when Anthony closed the toolbox at Turramurra?
Yes. He was groggy, but he was alive.
He has to say that, otherwise he'd be sitting here with us.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please say I do.
I do. Yeah. Anthony said to come up the Karura River, the Bulla dealer. He'd be waiting there dressed like a fisherman with a few eskies, because the prick might be in a few pieces, see?
And after the discussion of fixing your boat had ended, Anthony mentioned Terry Falconer?
He said he'd heard a rumour that I'd been told in jail that Terry Falconer murdered his grandparents.
Another call to Gary Jublin, where you allege that a helicopter was hovering over your house.
It was square lapping the perimeter, correct?
You actually believe the helicopters were following you around Sydney?
Correct again. The heat was on.
And the Jats crackers in your swimming pool, that too you interpreted as a threat?
Well, someone had been to my house and put it there. Also correct.
What are you eating?
A mint.
You're giving evidence, you realise.
Holding up threatening signs did nothing to damage the strength of Tuno's brief.
Threatening the witness.
Anthony, his brother, and his mate were committed to trial for the murder of Terry Falconer.
The problem with the autopsy is we can't prove the act causing death. Was it the closing of the lid, the punches at Turramurra?
I thought it didn't matter when exactly Terry Falconer died if we could prove intent to kill, which we can, given Frank O'Rourke's evidence.
Hanging a murder conviction on the word of a man who cowers at the sight of Jat's crackers?
Yeah, it's not just Frank, all right? Decker's evidence goes to premeditation as well.
Hardly. Decker makes out like the whole thing was an accident and he just helped clean it up. What does he actually add to the murder charge?
Well, we got the hacksaws, we got the disposable suits at Girvan. I mean, he said they were already there, so it doesn't matter how he died. They were always going to kill him.
I'm no longer confident we'll win if we pursue murder. The safer course is to offer Anthony the lesser charge of manslaughter. He pleads guilty to that. We skip the trial altogether.
Fuck that. And I'll tell you why. I haven't chased this prick for the last 9 years just to lock him up for manslaughter for 6. OK, he'll wear that like a badge on his chest.
Manslaughter also means Andrew walks. There's no conspiracy to an accidental death, and we forfeit the conspiracy charges on Anthony and Muzz.
And it completely ignores Frank's evidence, right? You might say he's crazy, but this guy has laid his life on the line for us because we said we were going after Parrish for murder, not fucking manslaughter. And all our witnesses have laid their lives on the line for us, so we're not backing down.
Gary, would you rather pursue murder and see them all get off? Or do you want to make certain that you're putting Anthony away for something?
Despite strong evidence pointing to Terry Falconer's murder being planned, the Crown prosecutor commenced negotiations with Anthony Parrish's lawyers to have him plead guilty to manslaughter.
So your lawyer said that if Anthony pleads guilty, they'll drop the charge altogether.
Well, that's just fucking marvellous, isn't it?
But is he going to do it?
Well, I haven't exactly had a chance to talk to him, have I?
He'll do it for you, babe. I know he will.
You got no criminal record. You could be out in under 10. My best advice is to take the Crown's offer. Plead guilty to manslaughter.
Yeah, but if we go to trial, I could get off completely, right? I mean, the circumstantial case, the shoddy witnesses...
Anthony, look, this is the best possible scenario.
You know, guilty's not a word that comes easily to me.
Anthony knew the longer he sat in prison, the more vulnerable the company's business became. People on the outside were jockeying to take over his share of the drug market. He needed to get out, whatever it took.
Silent. Please stand.
Anthony John Michael Parrish, will you please stand? Anthony Parrish, you stand indicted for murder between the 16th of November 2001 and 26th of November 2001 in Sydney, in the state of New South Wales. You did murder Terry Falconer. How say you? Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. But I plead to manslaughter.
Mr. Crown, do you accept the plea? Mr. Crown?
Are you okay? All right, sit back. Your Honour, I think we need to call an ambulance.
Merv Grogan survived his heart attack, but the trial would be delayed so that another Crown prosecutor could be briefed. A younger, less experienced man.
So has the new Crown read the brief?
Mm-hmm, over the weekend. We just want a home invasion.
Great. A home invasion.
Well, you won convincingly.
Grace Alavoine, passed away on Sunday, the 13th of March, 2011. Her dream of seeing Gary Jubelin and Tim Brown deliver justice to Terry Falconer's family was not to be.
Someone's a funeral?
She didn't believe in them. She left us some money for drinks after the trial.
It's not fair, Brad.
I know.
We're gonna get these pricks.
He's fairly eccentric, so look out for that, but he's really, really good. Here he is. Paul?
Paul Leask, Crown Prosecutor. When have you seen a case like this, eh? I mean, though it's terribly complex, one thing is indisputably clear. Terry Falconer was never going back to Silverwater. Never. Never, 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 never. No, this is murder if I ever did see it. But don't you just love the irony? I mean, all the fastidiousness with trying to eliminate the evidence, use ammonia, it fucks the DNA. I mean, he didn't even know the tides. He may as well just throw in the evidence in someone's swimming pool. Unbelievable.
Paul Alexander Leask, sit down, shut up, and listen.
All right, well, before your predecessor had a heart attack, he negotiated pleas for manslaughter.
Oh, no. No, we won't be doing that. Manslaughter's completely incongruous with O'Rourke's evidence.
You're not fucking this, eh, Paul?
Hello, you've reached Paul Leask. Leave that. Leave a message. That's okay. No. No, this is murder, plain and simple.
Paul, the defence will rip you apart. Take the pleas, or you're going to lose it.
Happens all the time.
Almost a decade had passed since the murder of Terry Falconer. Anthony Parrish was about to be held to account for his crimes.
On the 16th of November in 2001, ladies and gentlemen, 6 bags were discovered in the Hastings River. Each contained the remains of a human being. Terence Falconer. Anthony Parrish pleaded guilty to his manslaughter, but the Crown does not accept this plea. No. This case is one of murder.
In June 1993, Anthony and Frances Parrish were found dead in their farmhouse in Leppington. Who killed them and why remains a mystery. Anthony spoke about his grandparents' deaths with a man called Brett Simpson, a go-to man. He suggested that he could bring Mr. Falconer to Anthony for questioning, but Terry Falconer was dead when the box was opened. Anthony panicked. He could no longer question Terry Falconer. There's no disputing the body was dismembered. He wanted to hide his involvement. If you'd been in the same situation, who knows what you might have done?
Bag 4 contained an upper arm and 2 shins.
That's correct.
Bag 5, a half pelvis and a thigh.
Yes, correct.
Now, when those pieces were put back together to reconstruct the man, as it were, was there anything missing?
Yes, the body had been eviscerated. So the stomach, the heart, the lungs, kidneys, liver, spleen were all missing.
And the head had been separated from the torso, is that correct?
Yes.
And the jaw was missing?
Yes, the lower mandible was absent.
Professor, how exactly is the jaw connected to the skull?
Just at the temporomandibular joint here.
So would you have to cut through the joint?
Yes, you'd either cut the joint or cut through the bone of this area.
But to remove it, would you have to remove the skin?
Yes, you'd have to reflect the skin off the mandible first, then remove the mandible.
Of course, because you have a joint either side of your...
Objection, Your Honour.
That won't press.
Brett Simpson, also known as Decker, had been sentenced to a minimum of 15 years for his part in the kidnapping of Terry Falconer, the disposal of his body, plus numerous other violent crimes. He refused to change into a suit to give evidence. wearing his prison coveralls like a badge of honour.
Do you recall discussing the murder of Terry Falconer with Ben Dockich at a cafe in Lavender Bay?
I can't recall.
You weren't to know this at the time, but an external agency had bugged Dockich's phone. I'll play you a tape to jog your memory.
Ben Dockich. Hey, you bastard. Hello? It's Decker. Yeah, mate, how are you? Hey. Come down to Lavender Bay Cafe. I'm here. Oh, you there, are you?
Does this refresh your memory?
Sounded like my voice, but I don't recall the meeting.
Do you recall who else was there?
I assume Anthony, but I don't actually remember it.
Well, what do you remember?
It was either Matthew or Anthony. I don't recall. I don't remember. I couldn't say who said that.
What is it? Decker's feigning memory loss. He's completely backflipped.
Well, the judge can see it's not a genuine attempt.
It's the jury we've got to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck it, we'll just show the walkthrough.
Don't you just love Section 38? You were arrested on the 19th of January in 2009. Do you remember your arrest?
Parts of it.
Do you remember conducting a walkthrough with police at Girvan after your arrest?
I don't know. They rigged him up to the block and tackle. Anthony throws a suit at me, says, "Get this on." The larger parts were cut into smaller parts, and I participated. I had to. At one point, Anthony looks at me, I'm feeling crook, and he says, "What, is this the first time you've done this?"
If I were to get knocked, you can still use my evidence.
Yes.
Now I'm trusting you with my life, Gary. So I need you to give me something. I need you to give me your home address. One day, Gary, I'll have my life taken for this, eh? And there's no doubt in that.
I've got a policy of not handing out my home address.
I have a policy of not setting foot inside a courtroom. You know, that's my policy.
I don't want any fucking gangsters coming here, Frank.
You're lucky you did that, eh? Or I wasn't going through with this. Anthony wanted me to take the boat out past the continental shelf, find a hole with a depth sounder, dump the eskies. On my way back, wash the boat out with ammonia.
Did Anthony explain why you would use ammonia?
Yeah. He said it fucks the DNA. They can tell there's been blood, but they can't tell whose.
The following year, you agreed to commence a police operation that involved you wearing a listening device to meetings with Andrew Parrish.
That is correct. Just one more
thing. You're giving me a fucking headache, Jim. Hey, it's important, right? Now, you know that document. What document, this one?
No, the document you and Rooster came round and showed me, right? The one that said Falcon had been dogging to the Jags. I just remembered something.
What?
I handled it. You know what I'm saying?
This cock and bull story about the dinner in Newtown, it just simply didn't happen.
Yes, it did.
I suggest when Anthony came to see you, he offered to pay to fix your boat so you could all go fishing.
No, he wanted to use my boat for the job.
What was the restaurant called?
We're talking over 10 years ago now, sir.
Why did you take the money if you had no intention of going through with it?
If they were planning to kill me, I was happy for them to pay for the repairs.
You've never been able to nominate the name of the restaurant. Not ever.
You could go to Hollywood, you're so good at making up stories.
You have a memory like Swiss cheese.
I'm telling the truth.
I suggest that everything you say in your statement is false.
It's your job to say that, miss.
Can this document be shown to the witness? There's a copy for Your Honor. A complaint was made about you over an incident with some younger prison inmates who you abused.
I did not.
That's why you were attacked in prison as payback for your predatory sexual behavior with young males.
I do not. I do not have sex with males. Thank you very much.
Put me in a room with Rooster, huh? I'll beat a confession out of him quick, smart. Cut out all this fucking bullshit, Gary.
Listen, the jury's going to see it for what it is, Frank, okay? It's a last-ditch attempt to ruin your credibility.
Well, yeah, and they don't think I'm fucking crazy?
They're not going to think you're crazy, mate. They're going to appreciate the stress you're under. Come here, Frank, okay? Don't let them fucking grubs make you feel this way. All right?
All right.
I've got something for you.
What's that?
Cigars. And that's for you to light up when we convict these pricks. Now, let me tell you something, Frank. If it wasn't for you, none of us would be here today.
No, Gary. I'm just lucky I stumbled across you, eh? Brother.
Yeah, come here.
I mean that, eh? You're a brother. Okay.
I got you, all right? Trust me, yeah?
The man we have called Frank O'Rourke was in the witness box for close on 5 days before he was escorted back to his secure location. He remains living under an assumed name to this day.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm on my way back to court.
Good luck, huh?
You coming with me? I got it.
After 2 months of evidence and 26 witnesses, there was nothing left to do but to ask the jury to consider their verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was not a killing performed in the heat of the moment. Whether the participants were hands-on or at a distance from the dirty work, each was involved in the one exercise to bring about the murder of Terry Falconer. Now, there have been allegations as to whether he played a role in the death of the Parrish grandparents. But Mr. Falconer was robbed of his day in court. He never got a jury trial. You've heard evidence of a different society, one with its own codes, its own values. Witnesses have described a society which is governed by fear, where the consequences for speaking out of school are extreme. Now, if the plan was to take Mr. Falconer back to Silverwater, why cut off his security anklet? And what about the 3 disposable suits and hacksaws at Girvan? What were they for? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Falconer was never, ever going back to Silverwater. I'd like to finish by asking you a rhetorical question. Let's say the plan really was simply to question Mr. Falconer. What if he confessed? What would Anthony have done to him then?
The jury's back.
Mr. Foreman, have you reached unanimous verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Matthew Lawton was charged with murder. How do you find the accused? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Andrew Parrish was charged with conspiracy to murder. How do you find the accused? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Anthony Parrish was charged with conspiracy to murder. How do you find the accused? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Anthony Parrish was charged with murder. How do you find the accused? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Anthony Parrish was sentenced to 18 years non-parole for the murder of Terry Falconer. His brother Andrew was sentenced to a minimum of 9 years, and his faithful retainer, Matthew "Muzz" Lawton, got a minimum of 15. In sentencing Anthony for murder, the judge said the Crown had not proved beyond reasonable doubt that Terry Falconer was still alive when he was delivered to Tarahumara. The question of who killed the Parrish grandparents remains unanswered.
It's very satisfying for a 10-year investigation to get a result like this. I think it sends a message to criminals that detectives will actively pursue them no matter how long it takes.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks, man. James, just wanted to say you did your father proud.
Thank you.
It's been a long road.
All right, everyone listen up. You know, this right from the start, this job was pegged as unsolvable. Thanks to every one of you, we did it. And we did it as a team. Yeah. There is someone missing. So I'd like everyone to raise a glass to Camille. She was tenacious, she was determined, and she never listened to a word I said. And we're all going to miss her very dearly. So to Camille. To Camille. And there is one other person I'd like to single out, and that's you, Brownie.
Hey, Downtown Brown.
And we all know that he likes to keep a cool head, but there were some days I had to check him for a pulse.
Seriously, Brownie, thank you, mate. We couldn't have done this without you.
That's it, everyone. Like I said, we've done it. We did it all together, so congratulations. We move on. So cheers. Cheers.
Nice speech. Yeah, I thought I could hear wedding bells. Just, you were saying...
Gary Jubon.
Yeah, I had a missed call. So am I lighting this cigar or what? Hey?
The jury believe you, Frank. You're guilty on all counts.
This is a filthy, rotten cigar, Gary.
Hey, you cheapskate. Call me when you got a better offer.